to the chopper! Salted him a little bit, so he hid it. One place he knew he could hide something, his ass.
Whenever anybody says they're a little concerned, they're very concerned.
I'd like to take his face off.
I will not die sober. Get the little fat kid is my uncle. He choked me to death. So what? What's wrong with being sexy?
Hello and welcome, Sexist. This is 2021. What do you guys think? We debuted it last week. What did you think of the new theme song there?
I'm digging it. I'm trying to get all the references. I'm not gonna die sober. What is that from?
Oh, it's from The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh my God, it is. It is.
Get the lewds, he says.
Never seen it.
I had to beep out part of it. You might be annoyed by it because it has that.
Did you just skip over that?
Well, that's what I said. You might be annoyed by it because it's fallen into that white guy. You know what I mean? Like people watch it wrongly.
Right.
Yes.
That's a stupid thing to say.
Yes.
People watch it and think like, "Ooh, how cool is this guy?
right.
I want to be
He's the
like
hero.
this guy. He's the hero."
right.
It's the Martin Scorsese has always had the problem of
People don't get it.
is he glorifying this? That's all I heard
Right.
when his original movie. Is he glorifying gangsters? Like, no, everybody gets a raw deal at the end of all the movies except for
Yeah.
Ace. But Ace, I have all his friends
Well,
die.
Ace
and Sharon
blows
Stone,
up,
his
loses
wife,
the love of his life.
Yeah.
It all goes badly. for
Stone
him.
Cold.
He
Steve Austin dies
survives
from heroin.
right?
He does. He survives.
He survives, but that's about all you can say for him, you know.
Because
Yeah,
nobody,
and he has to wear those
but me-
gigantic Coke bottle glasses.
Well, and that was-
Nobody but me outside of the factory could have known.
And
it
that's
had
the
a
way.
steel plate
I
over
mean,
it.
that part of it, anyway, is the way it went down, right? I mean, he didn't die
Yeah.
at that point, so it's like, you know.
Ace
Yeah.
Rothstein.
Well, and Fight Club, people didn't get, and American Psycho, people didn't get. So I mean, like, we have a problem in
Homelander.
America where the people want to go.
Yeah.
You know, these awful men.
Yeah.
They're my hero.
I was talking
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
my tattoo guy the other day. He was talking about all these people who are coming in, these new tattooers, and they're all named Tyler. He's like, I've met so many Tylers. And I was like, do you think it's because their parents watched Fight Club? They're like Xers that watched Fight Club, and we're like, Tyler Durden's like anti-establishment, cool dude.
Right. Jesus.
Something about
That's scary.
He was like, there's so many of them. I was like,
and they're
that's
all
weird.
libertarians.
Well, they say so. So
Doesn't
speaking
that
of
seem
your
like a cop out?
libertarianism,
Just generally, it's like I don't want to be one of you guys, but I still need a label.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, every time someone tells me they're a libertarian, I'm like, so you're a Republican and just don't want to admit it.
Right,
Gotcha.
It's like the church. It's like the Church of Bacon. Just join the Church of Satan already.
I got a question. You were talking about the tattoo artist.
School program.
Yes.
You got a new tattoo that I have not seen yet. I
well,
heard. I
yeah.
heard you got. Well, I've seen the bomb.
I have July drew me a
But-
bomb to match his skull that he drew me.
See, but I heard you were thinking about getting one on your head.
I do have one on my head. Ooh, where to take the phones off?
Hey, all right.
That is gorgeous.
There
Most
she
certainly.
is.
Most certainly.
Now, how long did it take?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the most generic, but have to ask tattoo questions. This
No.
person who's had them. How long did it take?
I couldn't tell you.
Hour.
Probably at least an hour.
Okay. And on
I'm gonna
the-
say it took an hour and 20 minutes,
Yeah.
maybe hour 10.
on
I
the-
don't know.
On the pain scale, tolerable or why the fuck did I do this? To
Sorry.
I gotta stop
I
doing
have
that.
I have a lot of tattoos. I don't count. I don't know how many. If
Right.
people ask me that, I don't have a number. And I've had a lot of accidents and physical ailments that were really painful.
Yeah.
Throughout my life.
Yeah.
This is up there.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
It was
had
not
me.
like any tattoo I've ever had before. Neck tattoos don't feel good, but they still feel like a tattoo. It just hurts a little bit more than
right.
other places. Like on your spine and on your wrist hurts really bad. But like on your skull, it's a totally different ballgame. These didn't hurt. I have them on my face. They didn't hurt at all.
Well,
How
let me
about
ask.
the Anchors Away one on your?
Oh, back there?
Well, you were doing that tribute to Kelsey Grammer in the submarine movie. You know? Another movie with a decent story.
Yeah.
Not a great
Down-
movie, but
Down Periscope?
Down Periscope.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Was that based on it? No, it wasn't based on a TV show, was it?
I don't know. I don't
Up
think so.
Periscope.
Yeah.
Wasn't there-
Down. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Up
Maybe, I mean,
Periscope,
McHale's
down
Navy.
Periscope.
That's
You
what
know,
I
it's
was
got a
gonna
lot
say.
of like reference,
Yeah.
feel of that.
Right.
You've got the old timey guy doing, the thing.
No,
There's a scrounger.
Shout out to Ryan Brown at Encore Tattoo in St. Louis, Missouri. He's my guy.
Salute.
The way to describe it is you can feel
That's what you said, right?
you can feel every stroke of every needle hitting you, because I guess it's hitting your bone.
Yeah.
So it's just literally, you can like, but in fast motion.
How do you not have a headache when that's over?
Well, I was actually going to ask if it felt like after it was all over, like, do you feel better because it's put a bunch of blood in your head and like a massage, or is it like, oh my God?
Well, I was jacked up. I had endorphins out the wazoo, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But it was the worst. It was so hard to describe because once it hits you, I'm laying down like this. Once it hits your head, all you can hear is
Yeah.
but worse than ever before because it's on your skull and it's turned your skull.
It's vibrating in your skull.
It's turned your skull into an amplifier.
Yeah. Tuning fork.
So people are like, my wife's sitting where Shark is, being like,
Oh, right.
I can't hear a thing.
Not a thing, yeah.
Just, and Ryan's like, it's crazy, isn't it? Because he's got tattoos all over. He's like, it's crazy. You can feel every single needle. And so he's going and going and going. I'm like, okay, he's shading right now. I know he's got the outline done. He's shading. We're good. We're going to be on the color. He's like, all right, got the outline done. I'm like, oh, Christ. Remember The Sopranos where Vito's watching the clock for lunch?
Yeah.
It's like the most relatable episode of Sopranos ever.
It is.
He's like, he starts working. He's like, lunch will be in a couple hours. He's like, I ain't gonna look until I finish this part. He's doing some carpentry. He's
You're
like,
almost
nope.
there.
You hear his thoughts. He's like, nope, not gonna do it. I know it's not. I'm gonna finish this thing.
Savor it.
And he'll look up at the sun. Savor it. It's got to be 15 minutes from now. It's gonna be here. Heck, it'll be quarter after by the time.
And then it's just lunch and you're cruising home.
Lunch and you're cruising home. He goes back to work and whatever. He's like, gotta be time for lunch. Let yourself look. And it's like 9:15.
It's like, it's been
He just
5
like
minutes
screams
from
this
the-
expletive. And it is, and you're right. That is, I mean, like that hurts. It's so real. It hurts. It's so real.
Vito.
So is getting a tattoo kind of like my hot sauce abuse dopamine seeking thing, right?
But-
like I'm
but way-
torturing myself on purpose to get a feeling.
but
Is that
more.
is
Yeah.
it same sort of thing?
No, it's another
I mean, I know it's got to
level.
be way more.
but
But
I
is
was gonna
that why
say-
you're doing part of why you're doing that?
Part of it
makes you feel good.
It does
afterwards, yeah.
release a bunch, and it lasts for a long time.
Nice.
as well.
So
Because
then-
you're still like parts are peeling off.
So where do you come down on people now who use the lidocaine cream to numb the area before they get tattoos?
All right. Well,
In general,
they just may want the picture. You know what I mean?
fatty tissue. Just go for it. Whatever. If that makes you more comfortable, I don't
Right.
care. For your skull, I'll go for it.
So see,
Now here's the thing. Well, I shouldn't say that because Ryan told me my neck was really painful. But after a while, he said, "I'm going to put a little lidocaine on here."
See, so this is what I like hearing because
this is you can't.
Oh,
up
dude,
here.
I will never.
It's because you sweat so much from your skull and you bleed so much from your skull.
Yeah.
If you put lidocaine up there, it's not good. The stencil's not locking in quite the way it should because you're.
But on
gonna
other
sweat
parts,
it
it'd be
off.
all right.
Yeah.
So what I love though is there's these people who are like tattoo purists, whatever that is. Like you need to earn the tattoo through pain, and I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, I
Gotta have the pain.
Like,
No,
don't
don't.
tell me how to enjoy the thing I want to enjoy.
yeah, like exactly.
Yeah.
Like some
if you
people
don't play a Telecaster, you suck.
Some
Well,
people want the rush, like
for
you're
me,
saying,
that's right,
And
but
some
you
people
do
just
you.
want the art. I want the art on my body.
Yeah.
you know,
I don't
like,
mind. Like I said, I don't mind it on any other plate. I've never been like. I put it like this. I've never taken a break ever
Yeah,
in a tattoo, and I asked to take a break because he made the
Oh,
joke
really?
at
It
one
was
point. He
like-
was like, "All right, starting to put in the yellow." He's like, "It's a lot of yellow." And he's starting to put in the yellow, and I'm like, "He's got to be some." And I was like, "How far are you through the yellow?" He's like, maybe a quarter." I was like, "Okay, I got it." Take a break.
See, and what I miss is there's a couple tattoo artists I went to where they used to play like a movie or something. Like I remember one I was sitting there and the dude's like he's like Forrest Gump or Gremlins, and I was like,
Oh, that's fun.
Let's go Gremlins.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, and then another guy was like,
Who's not in the mood
you
for
know,
a good
do this.
Christmas movie?
one guy gave me one, and he was like, "Is music cool with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love music." And then he proceeded to play Napalm Death for 2 hours while I was
I was gonna
getting
say-
every detail put in. And I was like,
I'm used to really crappy music and tattoo parlors, but he's a punk rock singer, but he's got really good taste in music, and he listens to mostly oldies and like mixed with like Steely Dan and Tom Petty with a bunch of oldie. Yeah, it's a good time.
Better than the dentist's office, right? I mean, they've always got some music going. While
but that's what I'm saying.
Or
like-
some new music that you're like, who and what is this?
Yeah.
What billboard is this?
But I want you to
music on?
imagine getting a tattoo in a tiny room that already feels a little claustrophobic, and it's just.
Oh, I've been in those.
Yeah.
I've been
And I
in
was
those
just sitting
tattoo
there
shops
like,
before, where you leave with a
This
headache.
sucks. Like I'm not enjoying this process.
Right. I can see that.
Yeah, get to Ryan. He'll get you done. But yeah, really.
And you can get a coupon for no % off
Unbelievably, yeah.
by mentioning this on our show.
Real painful. I don't suggest it
See, that's exactly what
unless you're
keeps me
real
from
down.
doing it. You
Now,
know,
am I
like-
going to get a dragon over here eventually?
Well, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Shark needs to get just like
No,
a
see, that's-
telecast.
do you have a
No, it's
tattoo?
literally every time.
Do you have
here's-
any? Do you have a tattoo at all?
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
know if I thought.
And only one reason. I am a chicken. I don't like pain.
Okay.
And every time somebody tells me about their new tattoo, the part of that story includes, and it hurt.
Yes.
It doesn't matter where it was or what
Yes.
it is.
Well, I'll tell you
and it's
this.
like, you know what, man? I like, you know, I can go to the doctor and like watch you put the needle in me and do what you need to do and get it out real quick. Like I can handle it. I can psych my brain up to do
got
that. But it scares me, honestly. If I'm just saying it, you know,
I'll
as
be honest.
easy as you can say
like,
it. Yeah.
Like this.
Gotcha.
That guy. Even these don't hurt at all.
And here's the other thing, right?
At all.
So
I mean,
you know, you guys know the way my brain works. Yours works very similarly. If you say what's your favorite, whatever, right? I mean, that's whether it's today is my favorite or right. The permanency of a tattoo. There's no way my brain could ever decide on one thing.
Oh,
you know
see,
what I mean?
I love that because it's the
It's-
ultimate. It's the ultimate control for me.
Oh, yeah, but I,
You know what I mean?
I don't think I could ever
like,
get
and
there.
I have no
You know what I mean?
control over basically anything in this world or life.
Yeah,
including my own body.
Yeah.
Except, you know what I can control?
Right.
If I want to put a leopard right here on the side
Yeah.
of my head, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I can choose specifically how I want that leopard to look. And I've found a guy whose art matches my yes, put that on me.
Well,
aesthetic. So
and see,
it's-
for
I'm
me,
happy
it's a
that your brain
reminder
can
of
do
wherever
that.
I'm
Mine can't
at.
get there. My brain would be jaguar or tiger.
Now,
If I had a tiger,
here's the
it should
thing,
be
though,
green
Shark.
tiger. And then I could never make
Well,
a
here's the
decision
thing,
because
though.
of the permanency, right?
I gotcha.
If it was a picture on my wall, absolutely, I
Sure.
could make a decision stick it because I know I don't
Well,
take it down if I don't like it.
I
Right.
use
You
that.
know?
I use that for the extra adrenaline. Here's how I do it. I never make up my mind until it's time. Until
Just
Ryan says,
impulse,
I'm
let's do it,
ready.
and-
Let's do it."
and-
So I had 5 different options. I had a snake to go here. I had a woman to go here. I had a girl to go here. I had an eagle. I had a bear from my leg. Like they were all over drawn, and I had this option. And I waited, and Michelle kept being like, "Have you decided yet?" And I was just sitting there like, "No, I haven't decided." She's like, well, "But here's the thing, I know I'm going to get all of them eventually."
Right.
Right.
Does that make
So
sense?
it
Because
does,
I've
it does.
bought into that
Right.
genre,
I
that
gotcha.
style of
Sure,
tattoo.
for sure. Yeah,
Right.
I love American traditional tattoos.
So the next
One
one
out of
doesn't
10
really matter,
things
right?
he draws, I'm probably going to be like, "Yeah, give me that."
Right.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, it's fun, good time. I highly suggest it. Should we all go get just a tiny tattoo just to see how it feels?
No, I couldn't.
Remember, we were going to do
No,
that at one
my-
Frischmas. We were all
yeah.
picked out bounty hunter.
That's right.
Star Wars things.
From the bounty hunter, from the bounty hunter book.
Yeah.
just a little bitty guy.
And I would do one of the sticker ones, but I swear that I have my mom's voice from 1982 in my head. Like, I'm just gonna put LSD on one of them things and give it. It's like, don't you remember when that was the thing? It was like,
I've
don't
never
take a
heard that.
temporary tattoo from someone. They have LSD on it, right?
yeah,
You remember
yeah.
those were the little,
Yeah.
So,
of course,
yeah,
Pop
it's-
Rocks and Coke were going to blow you up too. So
My mom didn't say that, but the kids said that, so I didn't believe it. It's like, we guys are kids.
So
what do
I-
you know?
I
My
want
mom's
you-
like 22.
I want you to think of
She's
it
a
like
genius.
this. You need to get a tattoo as the ultimate rebellion against your mother. As the
No,
ultimate
See,
rebellion.
it would be. I went to law school to rebel against my mom. I've already done that. Yeah,
No.
yeah,
This
that
is
was-
more permanent.
Get
Yeah,
your little
good,
pentagram.
Well, now that
He just
now
needs a
that
little
actually,
shark,
you know what?
like
now
a
that
little
you
shark.
now that you
A shark
mention
with a
it,
pentagram.
some shark jumping the pentagram. Or
That's
wait, the
pretty good.
pentagram jumping the shark.
pretty
Right?
good.
That's where I was going with it. Sorry.
The cross jumping the
Yes,
shark is what
I
you
like
need. Sorry, I just offended a whole
Now
bunch
I'm
of
gonna stick with the mustache, boys, because if I wake up one morning,
A
and
mustache on
decide
your
that I
arm.
no on my face,
No, where you can just
No, please don't do that. Hey, we're
Actually,
talking
I'm gonna
about,
buy a
hey,
knife on
my robot voice is back. It's back somehow. Hello, it's back. Maybe you just got to get real close. Hey, today we're talking about, it does sound weird, Northern Exposure. What episodes we doing? 9,
Man,
10, and 11.
right?
Man.
With some bangers.
They're so good. I thought all three of them in a row. Before we get into it, if you guys, where are you guys standing on the Drake and Kendrick Lamar battle, the beef that's going on?
So I had to have Holden explain the first part of it to me,
Okay.
which was good.
Now I listen to rap quite a bit.
But
I'm excited about this.
Do you know who
I'm
did the
having
best
fun.
breakdown ever? I just saw
I
it
saw
on
it. I know who you're going to say.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen
Yes.
standing in a tux
really
at some
good.
event did a breakdown of it. And I
giant
was
bong
like,
behind him. Looks
and
like LA.
yes, a giant bong behind him, and I was like, right now I know why this is completely stupid. And then my final thought on this is I saw a meme this morning because I know you hate part of this, but Rumors is like an incredible album. I don't care what anybody says.
Fleetwood Mac?
Yes, it's beautiful. It's perfect.
I was making sure it wasn't like a Kendrick Lamar
No,
album
no.
or something. I
But
wouldn't
on that
aware of.
album is them just shitting all over each other. Like this is a song about
Yeah.
me cheating on you.
But-
This is a song about this. So my
it's
point
very
is,
subtle.
you want to see a diss track? How about we make an album? This is a meme. I didn't come up with
right, yeah,
an
I saw-
album
yeah,
where we
right.
diss track each other
And then-
and make it into one of the highest selling albums in the history of the world.
Maybe that's what they're going for.
Well, and this thing, then last night, Holden and I are sitting there watching storms potentially destroy us all.
Yeah.
And well, that may have been a week or two ago. Anyway, the point is,
That was a couple weeks.
Holden looks at me and he
1.5.
says, he's like, "Did you see that there was a shooting at Drake's house?" And I was like, "What?" And it came up on the news that someone was shot outside Drake's house in Toronto.
Is this for real?
It's
This is for
wrong?
real. Like it was on the
Like
news.
with
So
a
then I'm
gun?
like,
I thought this was.
"Oh yeah," or a gun was shot in the house.
It was
at the
Canada.
house.
That's why I was asking if it was
I know,
like
blame
a gun,
Canada.
gun.
But
like
my
a real
point
gun?
is
yeah,
just like,
slingshot.
hey, those-
look, man,
yeah.
we come from an age where Fleetwood Mac does that. Eazy-E and Dr. Dre go at each other's throats and say some of the most horrible. Tupac. And then, so when I see two guys like this is diss track, go home. Do something else. You two are weak sauce.
I was gonna say it's weird that they're boy, that Kendrick Lamar track's pretty fun though. The one called Euphoria. But it's not subtle at all. He's just like talking about Drake and
You're a pedophile.
The chorus of it is, I hate the way you walk, I hate the way you talk, I hate the way you rap, I hate all the ladies.
It's like,
I hate the
it's like,
women.
are you Dr. Zeus or?
Yeah, I hate the women you F because they call themselves real women. I hate when you say the N word. Stop. And the whole end of the song is just like, I don't want to hear you say the N word anymore. Except it's the real word.
Yeah, right.
Because his whole beef is Drake is a privileged dude from Canada who grew up on Degrassi High television.
I gotcha.
He pretends to be a tough gangster rapper. Kendrick Lamar is from the ghetto. And
He's like,
Okay.
you cannot compete with
So
him.
Ice-T shows up. He's like, you mean to tell me this guy's the Kid Rock of rap?
So here's the thing that really bothers me
Sex
about
dungeon.
this.
You ever seen anything like this before? You're a cop in New York. Why have you not seen this before?
You mean to tell me?
to steal the John Mulaney bit?
I don't understand how black culture has fallen into a battle over blackness that clearly was created by white people.
Well,
And this has been going on since the 1800s
That's his other
with the
whole
one
thing.
drop rule, the brown paper bag rule.
Yeah, but everybody does that, right? I mean, when did Italians become white people?
I wish we could
Seriously,
listen.
I'm not.
But do
right?
Italians fight with
culturally.
Italians over what we are? I'm
The
saying
North
like
and South,
the
yeah,
black thing
absolutely.
blows me
Yeah,
away.
No, but I think that you see it. I think you see it across the board. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I think that how you're defined within your community or how your community that's always changing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Not that it's good.
Well, but I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. This just feels
I get
like
what you're
the
saying. I'm not
worst,
disagreeing
the
with you.
worst infection of racism on a level that really makes me uncomfortable.
You brought up
It is
rumors
weird.
though, circling back to that, like the Jason Isbell and his wife are regrettably getting divorced. Wish them all the best. We don't know what
Oh.
but she opened for him at Red Rocks,
Yeah.
And so like I mean they're in the
play with
process of it. No,
All
she
the time?
was in the band and everything,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
these dates are booked or whatever. You got contracts, and yeah, you might be getting divorced, but she's the opening act.
I had a feeling
It's
from that
like-
last album it
she,
sounded like it was going off the rails.
She came out. She did one
I'm
like
serious.
I think she did all the single ladies, and then changed like one of her lines to his crooked teeth, or something like she was hacking him.
Oh.
But he took it all in great stride, and hey, she put on a great set, and I mean so. It seems like they're handling that as well as they can for being public figures, and we hate it for them. We hope they get through it, but seems like diss and music is all the rage right now.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that as a rap fan, I don't think Drake is not a hip hop artist. He's a pop artist, and I actually agree with Kendrick Lamar. But I like them both. I listen to them both, and it's kind of exciting to listen to him because literally every other day will be like new track from Drake, new track.
See,
and you're like, oh, it's 7 minutes long, and it's just Kendrick Lamar.
Well, okay, so what do
And
you
he's
do
one of my
with,
favorite rappers. I really like Kendrick Lamar.
Well, what about like and again, this is me not knowing the genre well, but what Macklemore dropped some big protest song that's being played all over.
I thought he died.
Tom Morello saying it's the most Rage Against the Machine song since Rage Against the Machine.
okay. I haven't heard this.
I've heard it on TikTok several times, and I'm like,
They,
this is a song people should listen to and debate instead of you're a pedophile and you're a bad father. Really? That's
He does call him a pedophile. And
see, like I mean, just like.
and he's calling
And
him
then
out
like
for all the models,
Rogan's like,
underage.
I never heard of
girls.
a rapper going on the defensive.
Yeah, I am a good
I am
father.
a good father. I am not a pedophile.
I love that he
Like,
said he was like, and he came back and he was like, I hate you and I hate the way you dress. I'd be like, that really hurt my feelings if somebody said that to me. I'd be like, oh, come on, man.
my new track. I know you are, but what am I?
I don't think we have time for the reviews. I was going to say, my son and I watched Transformers Rise of the Beast the other night.
and
Best Transformers movies I've ever,
all
I've
right,
ever
I'll
seen.
have to watch it.
It's
I'll have to
fun.
watch it.
It's what
I've seen them all until this.
It's
one.
what they all should have been the entire time. I was like, this is actually fun. It's simple. There was nothing. There was no like great grandeur. Oh, hey, you know what that means? That means it's time for another segment. Since the show's moving
I
along.
love that we have
So
no
Robbie,
clue
this
what's
is what
going
it's
on.
like playing with tracks in your ears.
Yes.
It's this, right? It's like you're doing something. All of a sudden, oh no,
That means the Fritzman files are coming up. But first,
Oh,
I got to
no.
get to my sponsor here. Today, we're sponsored in part today by people that willingly own birds. You know who you are. Your rare zest for life and failed attempt to achieve just a semblance of individuality does not go unnoticed. Don't worry, there's no proof that all the bird noise is detrimental to your mental health or overall sanity. You may have gotten used to that smell 2 divorces ago, but to everyone else, your house smells like a gym sock full of cabbage. Listen, let's not even talk about the creature that can fly that you got locked up in a cage. People that willingly own birds. Locking love in cages since the dark ages. Bird owners. Check your local pet store if that's still a thing. Back to the show. We got a few minutes before Fritz.
I've got to send
That's our
out a
new
shout out
sponsor.
to OG right now, who sent me a song, "Bird in a Cage" by Railroad Earth, that basically takes this and kind of says like it's like this horrible sin. Every time I listen to that song, I think of BG. OG, sorry.
Well, here
I
it
know
comes.
there's a
This is
confliction
my
of those two people.
great-great-grandfather, I think. We have audio recordings that people keep sending me. We thought he was a war hero.
Smithers L.
Here he is.
Fritzman here. November 1963.
All right, we get a
I
date.
have just returned from a quite refreshing vacation. Myself and the missus went down to Dallas, Texas.
Oh, shit.
We decided not to watch any news on our entire vacation or listen to the radio on the way back. Just to keep ourselves in the refreshed mood we felt from our vacationing. We went to the little city of Dallas, Texas. I was trying to find a book I missed from my childhood, and I heard there was a depository there of some time. And I wanted to see the depository for myself to see if I could locate the book of my childhood yearning to bring back nostalgia, much like Proust's Chocolate Eclair he bit into, but that's another story.
Wow.
Nonetheless, I didn't find the book. I was very upset. Very upset. So, when I get upset, as always, I pulled out my lucky gun, my 1911, And I started brushing it down and oiling it to make sure she felt good.
This is something
'Cause
he
she
does
makes
when
me
he's
feel good.
stressed.
So I gotta make her feel good. Now, keep in mind, this
But
is
he
a
doesn't
gun,
want to make
not
a woman
real
feel good.
Because I have stated on several occasions,
here we go.
it is a pure pleasure of mine to never, ever give a woman satisfaction.
That's a desire.
Not funny. It's a disease, nonetheless. I was shining my beautiful 1911 up in the book depository when all things happened. It fell and went off several times. No one was hurt that I know of. No. We drove home and had a wonderful vacation. We
Evil
listened to
Forrest
Not the
Gump.
Radio on the way home. People, I'm telling you, that place was packed. There were people everywhere screaming outside. They must really love that depository. I don't know. It didn't. They must have been trying to find their own childhood
Fritz.
book, much like me. Smithers L. Fritzman. By the way, P.S. Schmizmo.
This is Doctor.
Tell Dr. Schmizmo the feathers have returned. Not just from my urethra.
Hey, he got a little.
Is that the right word for the penis hole? I'm not sure. I am urinating feathers. And they're also coming out the back, too. If they start coming out my throat, Schmizmo, I might think about having to replace you. This has been going on
Think about it.
for 2 decades now, this feather problem. Yes, I had a problem with poultry for a while, but those days are long gone. Schmizmo, get these feathers out of my pee hole. I also highly recommend Dallas, Texas vacation. Good times had by all. Just don't drop your gun. Really ruined my day. All right.
Ruined his
Smithers
day.
L. Fritzman, out of here.
His day.
Sounds
His
like
day.
he killed
His
Woody
day.
Harrelson's dad.
Now, Shark, you pointed out before your mom was a librarian, and even she had never heard of a book depository.
No. In fact, my grandma was like the head librarian. I mean, she was like the librarian over all the librarians. She was like the
Palpatine.
final boss librarian. You know what I mean? Right? And she'd never heard of one.
It makes me think of the line in Mad Men after he's been killed, and Roger's married to like a 20-year-old beautiful woman and everything, and he's on the phone. He's like, I'm sure he's upset because it happened on his watch. I don't know. I gotta get back to work. And he hangs up. He's like, that's the most she's ever thought about a
Smithers
book or a
L.
depository in her life.
Schmizmo,
Uh-oh.
I'm having a little trouble. I haven't gone to the bathroom.
Again.
I say on 3 months. I have a hard
long
rock
time.
in my belly, about the size of a beach ball.
My great grandfather.
I think I might have a problem, Schmizmo.
That big rock.
But who really has a
Say no
problem
shit.
is America. I've noticed that America is really falling apart. I think you know who's causing all the trouble.
Did we get a date on this?
Now, Fritzman here, I haven't picked up my guitar once again. Many years. But I am an old man at this point. And Fritzman, I've wrote a new song.
Oh, no.
It's called The Ghost of John Wayne. There it goes.
Gotta admit, doesn't sound like a good idea. Ghost of John Wayne, my great grandfather. Barely here.
I'm looking at the ghost of John Wayne.
Sounds like the boss. Yeah, it does.
And he's staring at the night.
Not bad, actually.
He got a big old handgun in his right hand.
Sounds right.
He said, I'm coming back, I'm gonna do it right.
Okay.
Where have our heroes gone? What happened to good rock and roll songs?
So far.
And what happened to a place where good old boys can belong?
It wasn't bad. It started pretty, you know.
Talking to the ghost of John Wayne.
Be stealing somebody's fudge rounds here in a minute.
He said, why is America filled with such pain?
Still kind of bossy. It's not.
Yeah,
It hasn't crossed
yeah.
any lines.
He said, why is there so many people running around that don't look like me?
Oh shit!
There we go. That's
I think that might be the problem. That's what I can see.
Sell this to Aaron Lewis for $1 million.
Where have all the heroes
Oh,
gone?
you pay 5.
What happened to good old country songs? And the fake news won't let a good old boy have somewhere to belong.
Wow, this seems really.
I used to
current.
belong here in this country before they started tearing down statues and telling me what I could and couldn't say, turning into a communist state, telling me my freedoms aren't free anymore. Well, I'm not gonna stand for it. Smithers L. Fritzman would like to know, where have all the heroes gone?
This is my great grandfather.
What happened to good old rock and roll songs?
Maybe Shark, you just do something with parts.
Why won't Biden leave a little room for a good old boy to belong?
This had to have been written in the last 4 years.
That's right. That's right. Fritzman, the Smithers L. Fritzman's alive. Now I'm still here, baby. Signing off. Smithers L. Fritzman. That's gonna be a hit. I'm printing money.
That's the best sign off ever. Print money.
Smizmo, what do you
Oh
know?
no.
Something's wrong, Smizmo. Wow.
I'm printing money.
I tell you what, the only problem with that song is that I think people in Nashville will be killing each other to get the rights to it, to record it and put it on Aaron Lewis's album.
It needs a little filling
Any
out.
of
But
these.
besides that, I think he might not be wrong. It might be printing money.
Shark, what would you do over that if you were adding a little background to it? Not record it.
Yeah. I'd stand outside the studio and smoke cigarettes till it was,
And run away.
Right, yeah.
I can't believe he's still alive right now.
Why does it say? Yeah, I mean, he's got to be.
So let's just put it on the table.
150,
He's been
110?
sending all this stuff to us on purpose, clearly, since he's
it's
alive.
probably him.
He's
I
the
didn't
leak.
Put that together. He is the leak.
He's doing this.
Your grandpa's deep throat.
Smithers L. Fritzman here.
Back for one more, I think.
April 1968. The wife and I took a little vacation to
Back
see
in
an
time.
old friend of mine, an old CIA friend
Let me guess.
by the
Memphis.
name of Elvis Presley.
Oh.
One of
Not
the greatest
going
men
where you
I've ever
thought it
known.
was. In
Presley and I,
Him and Eve.
we go way back. The song Hound Dog, that was about me. Fritzman.
There's so many
Fritzman
problems with that statement.
Nonetheless, Elvis and I are hanging out, and I tell you, my guy's got the blues. He's telling me how rough his life is in Graceland. And I say, Elvis, my man, nothing makes me feel good like shining up a pistol.
Oh, no.
So I pulled out my lucky 1911, and I give it to the king. And I say, shine her up, king. It'll make you feel like a man. The king said, "Oh, I can't wait till you. I can't do imitations." But he was very happy. He took the 1911. But as I passed it off to him, I dropped
Jack
it and
White.
it hit the ground. The hair trigger fired several rounds into the Memphis air. I once again am sure no one got hurt, or surely I would have heard of it. Of course, it was vacation, and you know the rule.
Radio
No
silence.
news on vacation. Smithsville Fritzman. I like my vacation
I have
to
that
be news-free.
tendency
I don't
myself.
want any
I
news of the world coming to me, Tom Hanks. You take your news of the world and you shove
it's
it
a
up
movie.
your Oscar-winning behind. Now,
News of the world.
besides that,
I wanted to love it.
firing my gun off in Memphis in 1968, April. Schmizmo, I'm having trouble.
Somewhere in the
Something
evening.
has caught up with me. I think you know something I refer. 3 of my toes on my left foot have developed very distinct personalities. The middle toe has become a real agitator. He's trying to get them all to fall out of line. Ring toe, I don't know how this is possible, but he's developed the personality of a tortured Vietnam vet suffering from yet to be diagnosed PTSD.
1963.
I don't know what that means. I've just made
68. Okay. Okay.
tired.
Yet to be diagnosed, he said.
Silly dog. And Pinky Toe, of course. Poor little shy Pinky Toe. He put his head in the oven last Tuesday. Is there any more hope, Schmizmo? My left toes have deserted me. It could be the diabetes, but I don't think the diabetes would give them personalities. Schmizmo, help me. Smithers L. Fritzman signing off.
He has to be clearly hallucinating, right?
You know, I keep waiting for us to get a recording of Schmizmo.
Yeah.
I just wonder what he would have to say, or she. Is it clear that
That's true.
Dr.
We do
Schmizmo
not
is a
know.
male or
No, it's
female?
not clear. I mean, I have, some-
Well, I think on occasion, if you remember, he did say that Schmizmo was his indentured man doctor.
That
or
is
something
right.
like
Okay.
yeah.
Because not only is his doctor, he was his father's doctor, and I believe at one point we realized that Schmizmo's son became his doctor as well. He forced Schmizmo's son to
So
become
this
his
was
doctor.
indentured servitude generationally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like Alfred.
Educated in London, clearly.
So every other show we talk
Clearly.
about one of the greatest shows ever made, the 1990 sensation Northern Exposure. We're talking about season 3, episode what is it, 9 through 11?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 9, Soulmates. All 3 of these were bangers. We got about 20 minutes to talk about them. I know it's not a lot of time. What's the first one about? It's been a while since I watched it.
Been a while.
Maurice is talking about suicide rate. We start
It's
off.
a Christmas episode,
That's
man.
right. That's right. It's
Yeah.
Christmas episode.
I,
One
I
of my
have
favorites.
To, I have to add this. Like I have Christmas
Yes,
episodes I like
exactly.
to watch.
Yep.
This is on there now.
This has been one of ours for a long time. It's one of my favorite holiday episodes. It's just great.
Well,
they're
and
putting crows up everywhere. It starts
the
off.
crow thing
Yeah,
was
the
great,
crow
but what I
thing was
love
good.
is not to take
O'Connell's
away this, but
clumsy.
I just love that in a Christmas episode, Maurice's racism does not go to the back seat.
Oh, no.
Maurice's racism
no.
is full on.
Oh, is this
and
where,
it feels
yes,
like
his son shows
and
up.
it feels
Son
like
shows up,
it
right?
feels like a Southern Illinois Christmas where an older man in your family
Has
makes
to try
very
to ruin it.
racist things to say
Yeah.
around the holidays.
Yeah,
right,
So I think the way we should break these shows
your
down
cousin
now
brought
is,
her new boyfriend, and your dad's got something to say.
yeah, is this way, not scene by scene, but to do this. Basically, yes, Maurice is unknown to him. He has a Korean son who shows up, and his family and his grandson, and it's Christmas time, and O'Connell's clumsy, and she's not wanting to go home for the holidays, but she clearly is, because when she gets the news that she's not going
We're
home,
off to the islands.
yeah,
F you.
yeah, see you later. But yeah, Maurice is talking about this. I love this. This is good. Maurice is talking to Chris about the suicide rate goes up at Christmas
Yeah.
time, and how it's meant to isolate single people. It is a family time of year, family holiday. It is made to isolate you, and how poor us for we don't have families. Immediately, a minute later, he is introduced to a family, and he's like, "I don't want you."
Right.
I said I wanted a
And you know
family
what?
that looked
I
like
felt
me,
that.
much like
No,
Fritz.
not the look like me part, but
The,
I think I
Holland
want
single.
that. Oh, here, you got it. No.
No. Well, it's Maurice. They don't look like him.
Right.
At one point in the show, Maurice says, I could take it if he had a physical deformity. I could take it if he
Yeah,
had
like
was
everything,
brain, whatever. I could,
yeah,
I could
yeah.
even love him if he was a bookworm.
Yeah,
I could even find a way to love him if he was a bookworm.
Yeah.
But this.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Maurice, come on, dude. He's your son. He's your flesh and blood. Somehow Maurice gets paternity tests done.
Instantaneously. That Fleischman knows nothing about and doesn't
Fletcher
talk
doesn't
about.
do anything. I love all the native stuff that goes along with Christmas. I love the story. I like that Shelley misses the Catholic Church, and she misses
Misses
her,
her
her
tradition
midnight
and her-
mass.
yeah.
Yes.
Joel gets a tree.
I had a guy give me $1 at midnight mass one time. I had stepped outside to smoke when they were going to the communion line because I'm square with people. And this guy started walking into the church and he hands me $1 on the way in.
He thinks you're an usher.
Oh, I was homeless.
Oh, you were probably wearing a suit.
No, I just got back from Key West. I didn't have a coat on.
Okay.
It was a fancy church underneath the arch.
Joel gets a tree. He decides that why not celebrate a tree. He was always jealous of trees. Then we get Maurice and Duquan's mom.
I believe it's Ducoin.
No Kija. Yeah, Joel's tree. He tries. We got more stuff about Ravens, Heckle and Jekyll. We find out that Ruth Ann is a atheist in this episode.
Yes, yes.
Which is a nice canon event that she says. Well, she says she's an atheist, but then she says
Yeah, then she believes in something.
she believes in something. It's just not a male based deity or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that. So I'm like, well, you're not
female-based.
really an atheist.
Yeah, then you're not an
You're more of an
atheist.
agnostic that maybe leans
On the
You're a
terms.
hopeful agnostic towards a feminine
like
deity.
Gaia thing. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
this very discussion, I think, was up to 113 comments on the Facebook Northern Exposure group.
Really?
Deal.
gotta
Somebody
get on
just
this
watched
thing.
the episode, and so it's like,
Are we
Why-
tagging
I was
ourselves
gonna
in
say,
there?
Are we in this? Are you watching this? Come on, Northern people.
yeah. Well, but yeah,
We're
this
bringing
this
sexy
this
back
was
long
a
before the
hot
bird.
button topic.
That's
It
right.
was like, well, if you're an atheist, that means you don't believe in anything. So if you believe something, then
Then you're not an
You've got to be,
atheist.
like I said,
Yeah.
it was,
You're a step above agnostic.
there was a lot of FUs in the comments.
Yeah, there's some music going in the background. Maurice, God, the scene where whatever his name is, Ducoin, plays the cassette tape and sings the song to Maurice, and he's so
Fly Me to the Moon.
I don't care.
But hang on,
I'm not
hang
going to
on.
do it.
Can I say this real quick?
But
I'm assuming we're supposed to know this is intentional or something, or maybe, but he's so proud of his astronaut status.
Yeah. Yes.
That this song seemed like such a who you are. It's Sinatra, man's man.
And that song was part of the whole Mercury astronaut program
Yeah,
thing, right?
Right.
That
So I
was
mean,
part of
like this was
their-
the most
right.
perfect song
Yeah,
he
really
could
is.
have sang to him.
he has taken the time to learn the English version of this song, sings it to his father that he's just met, and Maurice is horrified.
Maurice like vacillates between a smile to pretend I'm okay with it and a smile that I want
Maurice
to kill you.
smiles
Yeah,
like
right. Yeah.
he looks so. It's great. I got excited because I saw some eggnog there. What else happens in the show before we get on to the
Is
next
this
one?
the episode where Chris says, "This
He
is
has-
our family"? Like this town is our family?
I have that.
Or am
He
I
has a
ahead of
good
an episode?
Good speech, learned behavior. Oh, he tells Maurice. This is a good speech. He gives Maurice about like
Right.
your problem is learned behavior, which is a good thing.
Because you can unlearn.
You can unlearn. it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
he basically tells Maurice it's a whole cool like story. This is other, and this is your circle, and this
Yeah.
circle's out here, and it's exotic. And when it comes to sex, that circle out there is real fun. But once you take it and put it in here with your inner circle, then it gets a little weird.
This was so jarring to me because in academia we use the term "the other" all the time. When we're talking
okay.
about, so it's like,
Yeah.
obviously he's dealing with the other, and you're like, right, and it means racism, xenophobia,
Yes.
all this stuff's tied in.
You see a totem pole in this episode, the first one I think, and you'll start to see him more and more often. Maurice blows her off. K-Bear, Chris he's reading the Raven, which I like.
Yeah.
Then you get somewhere in here. Joel asks Marilyn, "What the heck's up with all these ravens at Christmas time?" And she tells him this beautiful story, and then we get it at the end of the show as well. Flashman gets O'Connell. He takes the Christmas tree. He gives up on the Christmas tree eventually. He takes it to O'Connell. He says, "You can put as much figgy pudding as you want in front of me. At the bottom of it, there's going to be a matzo ball."
Right. Right.
Just a great line. He's like, "Take the tree. It
Yeah.
belongs here." He's decorated it out in her front yard, and O'Connell's just looking dynamite in the scene. She's looking like $1 million babe, and he convinces her to go see the play, and we see why they hang the ravens. It doesn't really explain why it's their Christmas tradition.
Yeah.
Like it's more of like she tells the story to Flashman, and he's just kind of sitting there like, "That's a nice story," but he never says the kind of unthought, "What's this have to do?"
Yeah. Why Christmas?
Yeah.
Right,
Right.
Christmas. But yeah, it's a nice story about the Raven.
I mean, are we supposed to assume it's like the savior? It saved
Yeah, I guess so.
humanity. I mean, that's what I kind of took, but I
You're
would
right.
like to more direct.
Because the whole demonstration is the birth. So the Raven, we didn't have sunlight in the beginning of time, and the Raven saw this that the people were in darkness, and so he went and turned himself into a pine needle that floated down the river. The king's daughter drank from the river. Pine needle went inside of her, impregnated her. She gave birth to a baby who cried and cried and cried and cried until the old man who had stole the son from us gave him the sun as a rattle to play with. As soon as he had it, he flew in the sky, and we were no longer in darkness.
Because he was Raven.
Because he was a
Raven boy.
and
right,
ravens
yeah.
are tricksters,
Yeah, right.
and he and yeah. So I guess so. He was born, and then he stole the sun for us.
And then
Pretty
Muddy
cool
Waters
story.
invented electricity.
That's right. Pretty great. What did you guys think of this one overall?
That was a good
I was
episode.
I told you it's going into
Yeah,
the Christmas
yeah.
rotation.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
fun.
Fleischman's Judaism was it seemed like it was handled well, where he was like, because you know how he like,
Oh, yeah.
he talks about being Jewish, but almost like offhandedly.
Yeah.
But here he's like, my mother would not have allowed a Christmas tree and within
Yeah.
this. And
Oh, yeah,
I like
right,
that.
yeah,
I
right.
like that you get 8 gifts or whatever. I don't know. It was like the first
Oh.
time it wasn't snarky.
It's true.
When he's talking
Yeah,
about his
that's
faith.
right. Yeah. He
You know,
was-
him, not other people.
Well,
They're
he's-
very respectful.
He's grown
Yeah.
a little bit though because of that whole episode he had about where Elijah comes to see him.
Right.
And the only other thing we need to talk about is Maurice respects his son because he can drink whiskey pretty good.
Yep.
He's an engineer. He finds out he's an engineer, and then he arm wrestles him, and he's
And
pretty strong. He almost
Yeah.
beats Maurice. Like Maurice gets a little worried for
I
a
think
second.
the sun let up.
You think
I think
so?
so.
I do.
I think
You
so.
too?
Yeah,
I
do
think
too.
the sun
Because
let
he
up
said
at
he
some
liked to
point.
lift weight. He's
Yeah.
like Arnold. I shouldn't do it. He says Arnold. He's talking about Arnold. He likes Arnold.
It's okay to make fun of Arnold. You know
Yeah,
what?
I'm Arnold.
In fact, I'm just going to throw this out there. If somebody wants to cancel us for making, using an Austrian accent or making fun of, people of Germanic descent in general, I think we can weather that storm.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we can handle it.
I think we got history
Yeah,
on our side.
we'll be okay on that one. Yeah.
All right, so the next episode, Chris is reading from a book about myth. What's going on in this one? Shelley's left. I like this one. Shelley is gone. Is that the right? Church is lit up with candles. Oh no, this is the end of that one.
That's the end of that
Holland
one, yeah.
sings for Shelley. It's a really beautiful
Yeah,
scene
that's right.
where he tries to make mass for her. He can't sing that good. He's doing something
I
cool.
respected the hell out of it.
Yeah, I was like, good for you, Holland. So the next episode, Holland comes to Joel. Let's see here. Is this episode 9? Voted against statehood. What do I have?
This is where he owes the tax.
That's
money.
right. It's tax
right.
when
Oh,
it
that's
Chris
right. Yeah.
Chris loans him
I
the
voted
money.
against statehoods.
He asked Joel for money, and Joel's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I voted against statehood." He says something like, I figured if they really needed it from
They'd
little
let me
old
know."
me, they'd let me know."
Well, they
How
are.
did they not get in trouble for this episode in post, like, fall of the Soviet Empire? Because this feels awful
Yeah, for real.
anti-capitalist. Like, the
definitely.
message here is thick.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I just
Adam's back. The good food is there. Adam's teaching Dave to make crab cakes. I love him just berating Dave. He's furious. He said, "You want to die? God, you're hopeless, Dave."
because Dave does not have culinary training
Yeah.
or anything.
Maurice is a real Karen about his newspaper being scooped up, but he takes a guy's hat off, knocks a guy's hat off, scoops up dog crap with his hat because he was using a newspaper. I would have punched. I know Maurice is a tough old dude. I don't want to fight Maurice.
But it's like that.
But I would have cussed him out or something.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have taken his stab. Like, that's my hat, you piece of shit.
I know.
Yeah, so Maurice does that. He goes on the paper rant. Holling asks Chris, because he got some money, would he invest in the bar? Chris is all about it. He's like, I've been in 1,000 bars. I know every bartender's name. I got ideas. I'm ready to go. And he gives Holling the money to pay his back taxes. Why do I have Lima Peru? Lady. We should hate him. Who knows? Joel's graduating position. I don't know what we're talking about here. So Chris is high off giving away stuff at the bar. He immediately starts giving away drinks and going through Adam. Is Adam still cooking at this point?
Yes.
Oh, no.
because-
Yeah, because Maurice has hired him to write for the newspaper. And he starts
Right.
writing these. He's like, I need you to be my deep throat. That's what he said. As Linda Lovelace said, I have here, be my deep throat. He says, there's a montage where they're passing out the papers, where there's a rap song playing.
Yeah.
And Michelle says, oh, this is a replacement song, right? I was like, no. This was an original song.
Oh boy.
It's just very poorly, it didn't age well.
It's one of those raps that was like, I'm so and so, and I'm here to say.
Yeah, I mean, it really was.
Rapping Granny.
Yeah, rapping, it's not that far off. Chris does all the commercials now. He's doing commercials for the brick. Like that's all he's talking about. He does something about I have T.S. Eliot written down.
Let us go then, you and I, when the evening spread out against the sky like a patient etherized upon a table.
Is that what he
That's
said?
the opening.
That's
He
the
says if
opening.
anybody
that's
can
not
do
normal.
it.
Okay.
He said if anybody can do that.
Oh, that's right. He get a free. That's right.
I get my free bowl of chili or whatever.
You get a free if you can quote T.S. Eliot. I forgot why I
It's
even
a
wrote it
love song
down.
of J. Alfred Prufrock.
Okay.
It's my favorite poem ever written.
All right. Well, Chris must like it too because it's you can get a deal with the brick if you go in there. Let's see what happens from there. Oh, you know what? I wrote down. This turns out to be true. Everything that Adam's talking about in his article about plant cells communicating with each other,
Yes.
and trees are talking.
Well, and
to one
James
another.
Cameron proved it to us in Avatar.
That's right.
I was just throwing that out there.
But it's
20 and 21, baby.
it's recently been proven, like just weeks ago, that trees. So, like, if insects are attacking a tree will let off a certain pheromone smell to attract predators of that insect. So they will put off a smell for barn swallows and bluebirds or whatever to
Or
say,
the woodpeckers who like to put
like,
them
hey,
yeah.
come on over here. I need help. Not only that, other trees can smell that or pick that up in the air or whatever you want to say it.
I'll throw a little of that out too.
And and well, they will then be like, yeah, they'll put it out to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And they basically communicate over long distances. Mushrooms and like underground.
Oh, that's some wild
It's
stuff.
some wild stuff. Anyway, so Adam's writing these salacious stories for the newspaper about how something's happening in the trees. They're talking to each other. Flashman goes out there to he doesn't go out there yet. He's so just like, oh, this is stupid. I can't believe it. He
Yeah.
figures out immediately that it's Adam.
Right. It took him like a split second.
Ed shows up exhausted at one point because the newspapers are doing so well.
Because he's delivering them, right?
He's delivering, yes. What's O'Connell? Oh my God, O'Connell. What's she doing? She's cutting wood. She's listening. Oh, she's cutting wood and she stops to listen to the stump. She is looking fantastic out there. She wants a stethoscope from Joel.
That's right. Yeah.
To
An
listen.
expensive piece
it's
of
like,
equipment.
yeah, like he throws this big fit at this. Is the state by it like this? Like,
It's not like she asked like for an electron microscope, bro.
right, yeah. It's like, can I borrow your CT machine?
Yeah.
It's like,
Stethoscope. Yeah. Joel and Maurice, he figures out the source. Chris starts to become lost. If you notice Chris, his radio personality, he just starts to become blah.
Yeah.
And it's all about the shot. It's all about the brick. That's all he really wants to talk about. And he's not. He's as I put here, Gordon Ramsay would say, "You lost your passion, mate."
There'd be an F-bomb in there, but yes.
Holleen is depressed as well because Chris is taking over the bar. He says, "I built this bar, and I just want to punch Chris's lights out. He used to be a great customer, but we're selling out every night."
He'd eat anything we put in front of him.
He'd eat anything we put in front of him. Maurice is out in the woods. We get Adam. They're kind of sneak. I love the scene where they're like sparring off a bench. Like, you'll be dead in 2 seconds. Yeah, you wouldn't hit my
I'd
ground.
break your wrist before you even touch. Yeah.
you're not the only one with survival training.
How about when
I kicked Matthew
When
Broderick's
he's,
butt 2 years ago in more
he's
games.
standing there? I watched that the other day. He's
great.
standing there, and when Adam starts to turn around, he's like, slowly. Like he thinks
Yeah.
he's got a gun
yeah,
or
right.
something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Maurice. I said Adam Batmaned him. He like turned around.
Yeah,
and was
that's
gone.
right. He was, hey, there's somebody else here. Poof.
Chris tells Holly he hates the bar, and he realizes it's changed because of him, and he doesn't understand. He says there's two types of people in the world: owners and renters. And I am not an owner; I'm a renter. And he's Holly's like, well, I'll give you, I guess you want your money back. And Chris, of course, says, I'd rather have my money helping a friend than sitting around breeding in some bank. Which I was like,
absolutely.
awesome, Chris. Then we go out to
Plus,
the newspaper's
I
back
spent
to
a whole
trash.
bunch of that money giving away free stuff.
$1,500
Right.
on drinks.
He's like, I
please.
spent at least $1,500 for free
yeah.
drinks. Adam leaves. The newspaper's back to trash. We see people dumping out coffee grinds. Then we see Ed brings in a paper from Anchorage or something. They got the scoop. There's a chemical spill in the woods and the trees. That doesn't have that.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Right,
But it's,
right.
yeah.
And Chris is back to normal. I like his little speech about watercolor in the rain.
Yeah.
When you get the thing you love, and then you try to change that thing until that thing's not recognizable of the thing you loved. It's like, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
At the end, he says happiness doesn't come from having things; it comes from giving things.
Yeah. Which
O'Connell
tees up the next episode, by the way.
Yes. O'Connell and Joel are walking in the woods. She's got him out there to see if he can hear the trees. She is looking like she's dynamite. She's looking fantastic. She's got a red jacket on. She looks like she should be in Red Riding Hood. She looks so good in the scene. And she says, just listen. And I love that Fleischman, you're expecting Fleischman to be like, O'Connell, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. But he doesn't. He's just like, he's like, this is stupid. But she's like, just listen. He does it he fights back one time, which is not very Fleischman-like.
No.
And he's like, all right. And then it just hangs on them for a minute and just darkness in the woods. And then it finally goes to credits. Did you hear anything? That was my question.
I didn't. No.
I thought I heard something.
My ears.
I thought they were going to play Feed the Trees by Belly from the 90s. Feed the
We don't have much time left for WDBX. No cold open in this last one. Our Tribe. It's so good. There's a goat in the office. It's a gift for Mrs. Noanuck. Holland's in the bar. He's closing down the bar. Nobody. He's just like, I gotta redo the floors, and everybody's kind of suspicious.
You just did them 10 years
10
ago.
years ago. Well, a lot of beer spilt on them, Ruth Ann. And he's wanting to close down the thing. Joel, he offends Mrs. Noanuck by returning the goat, right? He says I put down. Joel has some sweet chords on. I was like, man, I want those chords.
Fan of corduroy. You know what? I meant to ask a serious question, fashion wise. So you see Joel often wearing khaki pants, blue Oxford type shirt.
Oh yeah, very.
And then you can add tie, you can add
Sweater,
whatever you want to it, right? So I mean that's kind of like that look became a real easy staple, men's dress up, because you can add to it, you can take away from it.
That's
Any
true.
basically any formal-ish situation, you can make it in that.
Yeah, you could put a sport jacket over it. Yeah.
Is the 90s when that happened? Was that in the 80s yet?
That was the 90s, I think.
It was the 90s.
Late
Yeah.
80s.
So-
The 80s
You know
was
what that
still a little
means.
bit more.
We're out of time for WDBX. Thanks for listening, everybody. We love you so much. We'll be back next week with a review of the Black Crows. It's not new at this point.
And more
They're new album.
fashion with shirt.
More Fashion with Shark. Tune in to 20 and 21, wherever podcasts are found, if you want to hear the last of this Northern Exposure. See you, everybody.
Oh, fucking okay.
Okay.
So,
Joe
yeah.
says no Indian fucking hazing. We don't have a whole lot of time to get into this. Is this no Shark? This goes back to your statement. Is Marilyn nice?
Right.
She's a fucking.
Not in this one.
She is not nice, and she's
No.
a fuck. I don't want to say it, Marilyn.
If we were British, it'd be okay. We're using it in the British sense. Say it, but we're using it in the British sense. Oh no, that's not what I meant at all.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
I was doing the Key and Pill when I get all the way to outer space. She's a bitch. What'd you say? She always fights him.
Yeah, I mean, like,
It's not good.
It was so passive aggressive because he doesn't understand.
That's
Yes,
it,
it
right.
doesn't understand what's
My
going
God.
on.
It's like
Just
basically
tell
just
him.
fucking with him.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's an asshole too, because at one point he's like, "I'll give you the goat." Well, plenty of doctors get gifts that are beneath them or something, and they give them to their
assistants.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, you're a dick.
It's a tradition in medicine.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
There's
it
things
wasn't like
that.
he was like, let's kill all the Native Americans. I mean,
He takes
it
back
was a
the
bit
goat.
much.
Miss Noanuck wants to adopt him. He says, look at this thing's eyes. They're from the realm of the netherworld. Ed tells him he insulted her. Marilyn's giving him the cold shoulder. He finally agrees. Miss Noanuck, let's see. Oh, he's telling her, like, I have a Rabbi Schultz. My Rabbi Schultz, like, I have a tribe.
Yeah, that was a good conversation.
And she's
Yeah.
like, has your Rabbi Schultz been to the moon? Because our Rabbi Schultz has been to the moon.
Yeah, I was waiting to find out he was part of the NASA program or something. Like, literally, I was waiting for that. to happen.
No, it was a hallucination.
Yeah, and the Jewish people call themselves the tribe. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Well,
Like,
they are.
Yeah, you're right.
There's several actually, right?
right, but you know what I mean? Like,
There's a council of elders back at the office. Ed starts going through Joel's stuff because he's like, oh, you're going to give all away your stuff. It's just symbolic. You'll get your stuff back. Of course, we find out later He does not get his stuff back. This is when I'm
He gets
like,
stuff
Flash.
back.
He gets stuff back,
Yeah.
not his stuff.
Like
And
a
both
bowling trophy.
my wife and I were watching this going, this is awful. I am so upset for Flashman right now.
Like I was trying to
don't
imagine
want-
someone takes my record player
Yeah.
that is
Like-
very nice and I put a lot
Yeah.
of time and money into and they come back with a Crossley and I'm like, motherfucker, I mean,
Oh, I
I will
understand.
stab somebody.
Yeah, like you did not take my, let's see here.
Joke for the audio files.
Deep red Arrow steelbook of Deep Red and bring back freaking Happy
No,
Gilmore.
all right, how about this? Someone takes your before you got over your Les Paul. What year was that Les Paul?
Oh,
you
that
had?
old, that 69 Deluxe.
Yeah, someone takes that and comes back with a Walmart.
Yeah, that's
acoustic.
There you go.
Series 10.
Like,
whatever it was, the first one.
what the fuck? That is not the same
Yeah.
thing.
Joe gives a great
You're,
speech
you're
about
right. It might be
tribes.
harder to break the headstock off the Walmart one.
He has a great speech about tribes. Have we outgrown tribes? I wrote. Not anymore.
Oh my God, we're in one of those trouble periods
He
of
goes back to
history,
his
I think.
office. Marilyn's being a jerk. Chris is reading Emily. I'm supposing it's Dickinson. Flesh, and he says, "Congratulations! I envy Flashman for the flesh sacrifice to come." To which Flash
Yeah, them running down there. That was a great
was
scene.
bolted out
So
of-
good.
out of his office to run across the road to the.
Well, how about Ed will at points like try to clarify things, and then finally Ed goes, "I don't know. I'm not really part of that tribe.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I don't know that. I don't know their stuff."
That was great
So this has
physical
been no
comedy,
help.
though. Him, like, it's like you hit the line and then immediately it's
Yeah.
him
Yes.
bolting, Yeah, it was,
Yeah,
yeah,
a
it was
shot of
so
the
good.
office, and here he comes. It's playing that. Let's see. Maggie finally gets into the brick, and we find out what Holling's doing. I love that the end of so Chris is like, I'm green with envy. I can't believe that you're
They're letting
getting
you
to become
in.
part of this thing. He's like, I don't know what it is. And Joel's like, what do I do? I don't know how I got into this. And Chris says, sometimes it's just hard to avoid the happiness of others.
I thought.
You can-
I'm surprised
I
Frisch doesn't have
tried.
that tattooed on his arm or
Yeah.
something.
Do my damnedest.
Maggie goes into the brick,
But I
she-
try and I try.
She finds out that Holling finally tells her what's going on because she brings a package to him.
Yeah.
He's charting stars, and she's like, "What are you doing with these star charts?" And we find out that he purchased a star long ago for
Right.
an old friend of his. We're guessing it was romantic, but we don't. He never gets too much
Oh, I
into
thought it was
detail.
clearly
I was
romantic.
gonna say
I mean,
unrequited.
he never
was hard- he
says.
was
Yeah,
kinda-
never
yeah,
says.
He never says, but he's
and at
pretty
first
heartbroken
it
by
felt
her.
vague, but yeah, I think he
Yeah.
got into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he bought a star for her, and he's named the star after her. And this is the last time. It's a very sweet sentiment. It's the last time that the star will be visible
During his lifetime,
yes,
right.
he has this small window to see it. No, I think he said, and then it fades into
Yeah, 'cause
oblivion.
That is right. Yes.
He's like, this is it. There's no other. He's tried to
Right.
track her down, and he found out she died. And even though she's gone, he wants to see the star that he named after her. And it's just sweet. And then what? Of course, Northern. What would happen on 90% of the shows that wrote this? He would see the freaking star.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
the star. He would be there, and he'd be like, "There
In
she
terrible
is.
CGI.
There it is. I found it." He doesn't find it. It's already gone, which is
Yeah.
perfect because it should be already gone. It is gone, and Maggie.
And it starts that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Maggie tells him like, well, it's been gone a long time.
Shit, they're all probably gone.
They're all like, it's light from millions of years ago. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might be living in absolute darkness. It's all gone.
Yeah,
I was surprised to know that the star chart by a star scam went back that far.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
because it would have been, the
That would've
40s or
been- you're
50s
right,
when it
yeah,
happened.
you're right.
I thought that
Right.
was a very 70s or 80s type of scam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That felt more like a,
let's see, Maurice. I have Maurice's. Maurice and Chris are depressed. Oh, Chris is depressed because the brick is gone. He's like, I have no everything. My life revolves around the brick, and right now it's out of my
Yeah,
life.
he's like falling apart.
And he's gonna go to sleep mute. He's like, I'm gonna drive to sleep mute. I have to go to a bar, and I like that Maurice
This line.
saves Chris pretty much. He says, "What is it? I've seen flyboys."
I've seen men climb into cockpit with that,
that
look
look
on
of
their
their
face
eye,
and not
never
come
come
back.
back.
It's so good.
So he drives him. He drives him to sleep mute. At one point, he says, "You can sit in the back and howl at the moon." At one point, we see they've stopped along the road,
Yeah.
and they're just kind of I don't know what's happening. They just didn't want to. But Maurice gives this speech. Man, it says a lot about Maurice. It's about Shepard, and it should have been him. And I've never heard Maurice
Right.
talk about his failure.
Right.
Seemed like
Yeah.
he's not a he tells you about his successes. He doesn't seem to dwell on his failures. But he tells Chris, I guess because Chris is down about it should have been him on the moon. Apollo 14, it was supposed to be him, but and he says, and I just wrote down, damn, what a big failure to believe in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For him to carry that around, like,
Right.
my father, everyone in my family knows that I failed that. That was supposed to be me, and I was not good enough, which is not the case. But
No.
in his mind, that's that's what it's. And it also
That's how most
it informs you.
failures people do believe it.
And
It's
it
not one, but you
Yes,
carry it that
and it
way.
informs you very much in why Maurice treats people the way he treats people. I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get that great scene. Ed and Joel go in the woods. He's on a fast. God, he's falling
They even let
apart.
him out of the fast early.
Yeah, they let him out of the fast.
What do you
earlier.
call this?
I don't.
Lasagna.
Lasagna.
What is this? Bear moose?
Yeah,
Lasagna.
lasagna.
And enchiladas. And it's all like this
potato
great food.
salad.
Yeah, he's just scarfing it down. They go out in the woods. He's supposed to have a vision. He never really does. And Ed's like, maybe you did. He's like, but I didn't see it. He's like, maybe you did.
Yes, but maybe.
At the end of it, Flashman goes into the woods or he goes back to the town meeting. Everybody's there, including his new tribe. They basically give him a plaque and a sweater and say like, "Thank you for helping me. You're one of us."
It's the most
It's
normal.
He was like getting
was-
inducted into 4-H.
It
You know?
really
Yes.
was. And he kind
Yes.
of looks around like, what? And then everybody starts coming around, hitting him, hugging him, kissing him, putting food on his plate.
Even
and
people
he's-
from the town that aren't in the tribe
Yeah,
are
Chris is
doing
there.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
And
it's-
it's just fun. And like you see him like lighten up and be like, oh, this is okay.
And what music is playing?
Oh, what is it?
This is going to sound terrible. It's some kind of stereotypical Jewish music.
Oh, that's the music.
Or something
Oh,
like
it's the
that.
music because they've played it a few times. in the
yes.
show.
I was trying to make a joke
Yeah.
and do the Dave Matthews.
So for me, there was there's a line in these 3 episodes. It's like a thread would be a better way to say it.
Sure.
You have the Christmas episode where who's family, what's family. Then you have this second episode where, like money can ruin family and friendships, and owning things is the danger. And then this last episode's like, this is your family. Your tribe is right there in Alaska.
Yeah.
These people love you.
The people you're
these
with.
people
People
care
you're
about
there.
you,
Yeah.
Joel. They accept your eccentricities. They accept they accept your Jewish. Like they nothing problem with it. I don't know. I mean, these 3 felt like
That was really
like I don't
good.
know what comes next.
I
But
was
it
gonna
felt
say,
like these
I don't
3
know-
really captured.
I don't know what comes next.
A
either.
moment that I
But
was
they
really
were-
proud
They
of.
were solid 3.
Oh yeah, it was banger after banger after
5
banger.
moose burgers for all of them. We'll be back next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Listening to all that jazz. Love yous.
They do.
Oh, that jazz.
Salted him a little bit, so he hid it. In one place he knew he could hide something. His ass.
Whenever anybody says they're a little concerned, they're very